But let's kick it off with the Golden Lion winner from Pedro Almodóvar, The Room Next Door. Again, like I said, it's a English-only feature starring Tilda Swinton and Julianne Moore. It's about two women that worked at the same magazine in their youth. Years later, they have parted ways since their days together and reunite again when one of them has an odd request for the other. And I don't know how much of it. I think a trailer for it came out since then.
I don't know.
Not yet. I don't know how much of what this is actually about we can give away, but it feels like it's a central thing. And I think the logline is kind of up in the air on what that request actually is. But I thought the dialogue was a bit stilted at times, that gave the vibes of like a non-English director directing American actors or like English actors. But I think that was all like that's just me who didn't really connect with type of tone it's set up. The movie itself is like about death and the kind of expected solitude that is very culturally accepted, that once that hurt is all around you and people expect you to die, everyone ends up believing. Then when two people connect who don't really have much to share in the last couple of decades, that connection is a bit easier to do because there's like less tension and less history, or like the history is a bit further in the past, which makes for a really interesting pairing here. Kev, you definitely connected with it way more than I did, so tell me about like some of the merits of this film.
Well, many people like this movie. Many people didn't love this movie. I love this movie, but that's because the movie hits quite possibly as close as home as the movie could get, right? I unfortunately lost my mother in February to cancer, a 4-year battle with cancer, pancreatic cancer, and the last 6 months I stayed with my mom. So in the movie, the Tilda Swinton, who nails playing a cancer patient physically as well as mentally, has a request that requires Julianne Moore to accompany her. That played with my heartstrings quite a bit. I did tear up naturally, as one does, when it's quite a personal story as this. I can't say much about this, but it's really interesting to see Tilda Swinton's argument for her battle with it, her mentality, for how does she want to move forward with her treatment, why is she against certain aspects of the treatment. Even Pedro Almodóvar made a statement about euthanasia in his winner's speech, which Belgium has euthanasia allowed, like that is allowed here in Belgium, but in many other countries it isn't. And I think that's also why it won the Golden Lion, because again, thematically strong movies win, that have a lot to say, that are strong in their statement, and The Room Next Door certainly has that. I
Yeah.
really liked it. I don't think many people will love it, especially if they have, because I only have seen Parallel Mothers. I haven't seen that Western short he made last year, Strange Way of Life, I believe it was called. I haven't seen any
Yeah.
of his earlier work, but I really resonated with The Room Next Door. Yeah, what did you think about it? I don't know if you see.
I definitely have to catch up with more of his stuff. And what you touch on, that Belgium has that program. Switzerland is one of the few other countries who has it as well. It's called Exit here. It has like 160,000 members. So it's
Oh
like there's a
wow.
lot of people in Switzerland who are part of this. I know for like my own family, my mother wants to be a part of it as well. So like it's it's really it hits really close to home, where like it's about like the decision that you can make, and once you can't make decisions anymore. Here it is with cancer. I think it's more often brought up with dementia. That decision is really what makes you you. And it becomes a really interesting conversation piece. I just didn't really connect with it as much through this story, and maybe that's on me for not really I don't know, giving it enough. But there's a lot here, especially like in the performances. Like you said, I think Tilda Swinton is incredible.
She's in my best actress, honestly, in my top 5, and I don't think she'll leave that top
Mm.
5 anytime soon.
Yeah, and it's not like I wouldn't say like the typical Tilda Swinton performance, although there's like one specific thing that is couldn't be more Tilda Swinton,
Which
which rubbed me a bit the wrong way
which one?
towards the end there. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
right.
It's so weird, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
It's like such a weird choice.
Oh, you know what? I shouldn't mention also. You know, like we are talking about cancer, but this isn't a fully, this isn't another cancer movie, as I believe Stellan Skarsgård once said when acting in one. But this movie is also a conversation about death. Jean Turturro is also in this movie. I should say, many people won't bring him up. I will, because I also quite like his performance and his view on the request that Tilda Swinton has for Julianne Moore. Julianne Moore has a fear of death. She has written a book about it. It literally opens the movie with that fear, with that scene of her being at a book signing session. So yeah, really, really like this one.
Yeah, I mean, they both, like, one of them, Martha, Tilda Swinton's character, was a war journalist, so couldn't have been closer to death all of her life.
Yeah.
And then the other one's like a best-selling writer, which was it fiction that she writes, or
No,
something
no.
else, right?
She actually wrote about her.
She autofiction novelist,
Yeah.
right? That's what is. Yeah, and like, if you pair two interesting people up with each other that had like their own takes on life and death and their
And
regrets and
family,
all of
yeah.
that, it just gives so much to just like dive into it.
And it does it again in a very sensitive way that is quite admirable, is quite touching to follow. Yeah.
I gave it a 7 out of 10, and I feel like it's definitely one that you should seek out.
I gave it a 9. It's closer to an 8 than a 10, but I gave it a fucking 8.6. I'm that guy. I'm that guy.
He's that guy.